to the HOT6 GSTL Season 2 2013, and Innovation is taking names. He's taken 3 of them, and his last and final victim appears to be Lenok. Can Lenok change the tides?
Innovation likes himself some Frightened Octopus, and Lenok is now the one player that he has to face, the last man standing for his team. And it's a bit of an odd choice that Choya sends out here, not because Lenok is a bad player, but I feel the choice to send Lenok out is not to specifically to take down Innovation, but he's more concerned about the rest of the team, because the matchup against Zerg is Innovation's best matchup by far. And the matchup against Terran is not really where Lenok was able to shine in the Heart of the Swarm so far. So this seems to be like the toughest game for him, and I don't know, if statistics are any indication, if the past history of both players is any indication, then Innovation should eat Lenok alive here. So Choya has a lot of confidence in this player, he has a lot of confidence in his abilities. Maybe recent Team House results justify that decision, but it's definitely something where Lenok has a lot to prove.
Yeah, I'm really wondering about that. I think that it's possible that we see a bust here. The map is Whirlwind, and if he goes for a 2-base Roach play, maybe it could do some early damage. But I just... Whirlwind doesn't seem to be the map for this. It would seem to be another map would be better.
You know, this is one of the things where I was a little bit surprised to see that map happen. Well, we can talk about this in just a few seconds, since we are about to jump into the game. We have maybe the last game of the day on our hands. If Lenok doesn't win this again, it's Innovation right now, it's all over. Then Axiom-Acer takes it with a 4-0 FXOpen at our first play day. But we're gonna find out right now. We are going into the game. Whirlwind, as mentioned before, is the map for our first TVZ of the day. We have the Lenoctopus going strong, the last man standing for his team. He's going up against Innovation, who took down 3 FXO players already. Who's gonna take it? Here at the GSTL with Colin Wolf.
It's full force when I step to the floor, bringing you that fuel source fresh from the core. Right mind, fitting strong, you like iodine. With blueprint, these huge quotes that my mind designed.
Once again to the bottom left of the map, the Terran player for Axiom-Acer with a 3-0 so far already. It is
Acer Innovation.
He is such a strong player.
He wants to go home early today. He's up against the Zerg player to the top left for Team FXOpen. The last Zerg standing, it is
FXO Lenok.
You know, Lenok's going to have a ton of nerves here coming into this. You know, the total opposite of what Innovation is feeling. Lenok go reverse all kill here.
Would certainly make for a great story, but that's a very, very tough thing to accomplish.
Innovation is sitting in the booth right now saying, I'm smarter than you, I'm faster than you, I'm more successful than you, I have 3 kills behind me, I want the 4th one. There's got to be no concerns on his back, because even if he loses, even if he gets crushed, there are so many other people waiting to snipe Lenok, and he needs a pause.
Lenok is pausing the game, and right now, I mean, we are early in the match, so only 2 minutes in, so apparently, I would say there's either a problem with the sound or with his hotkeys. Most likely, it's an hotkey issue that he ran into here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to find out what exactly the meta is in just a second, and if it's really a hotkey, then he is probably going to get a warning, and we are just going to continue with the match. Innovation, he's calm and collected, he has all the time in the world now.
Yep, in just a few seconds you'll see the handsome man himself walk into the booth to assess the issue.
Yeah, once again guys, if you want to do us a favor, send a tweet, you have the time right now, to @TSLRAM on Twitter, and just ask him why he is so unbelievably handsome. He'll understand.
Yep, there's another shot of Innovation, who does not seem phased in the slightest about the pause situation. And Crank is just like, this is taking too long, I wanted to take this out easy, I wanted it to be a 4-0 and go home, I want to practice some more PvZ.
Okay, it looks like everything has been resolved, so I guess it was really just a hotkey issue.
Sound issue, as you predicted, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Either one of the two, generally, in a situation like this.
Yeah, usually it's either something happening with the sound, or it's a player who didn't really properly set up his hotkeys and had to pause the game because of it. But in this case, actually, everything's fine, so the game has restarted. And of course, the Axiom-Acer bench was informed about what was going on as well. Crank is completely fine with that. Handing a pen over, and we are good to go back into the game.
There we are.
And as we were saying, while we were talking a little bit about the just the matchup in general, let me give you some data on that. Innovation has played 60 maps in this matchup. 60 in Heart of the Swarm and only focusing on the offline games. And he won 48 of them. He is 48-12 with an 80% win record against Zerg. This is by far his best matchup. And Linog, on the other hand, he played 19 maps and he lost 10. He is at a 47% win ratio, and in the last 3 games that he played, he lost to Keen, Supernova, and to Bunny. So not the best track record here against Terrence. And this is not the map that I expected for that particular reason, because this is a map that both of them have been playing countless of times, not only in Wings of Liberty, but also in Heart of the Swarm. And I would have expected Linog to pick one of the newer maps, trying to be a little bit aggressive, maybe go for a push, something to overwhelm Innovation. He can't be confident going up against such a beast in this matchup on a very big map that allows Innovation to get into the late game.
Yeah, and a big concern for Linog right now is that his early gas has been spotted. He knows he's facing fast speed, and he's probably going to play a little bit cautiously here against any sort of aggressive build that he would see from Linog, which is probably what he's expecting for the reasons described, because he knows, as well as we know and as well as the viewers know right now, that this is not the matchup where Linog excels. This is not the matchup where Linog is going to play the late game against Innovation and probably win it. That is a pretty big afro. He could put his cell phone in there. That's nuts.
Yeah, I guess so. Wasn't that really what I was thinking about when I saw that, but yeah. That's also an observation that you could make.
Yeah, that's the kinds of things that I tend to notice.
I realized.
I mean, you look very good in an afro wig. I've seen this before.
Yeah, the famous afro wig. The best thing about the afro wig is still the comparison picture with the Tasteless.
Yeah. I would like to see you with it and glasses.
If you haven't seen that, guys, I guess if you actually Google for Caldor and afro, and then maybe Tasteless as well, you should get that picture. It was actually really funny. It was back in the days when we had Off the Record, and that was just hilarious.
It was pretty funny. I did not look good in the afro, I will admit. I didn't expect to. I just wanted to try it, you know. Don't judge me.
You know, one of the things that Linog is probably not expecting either is that he's going to take down an Innovation, but he might, and he's definitely going to try. So that's something that you guys have in common there. An Innovation is going for that early 3rd CC, and I don't know, I feel Linog. I mean, the one thing that Linog can only make happen on a big map like this is, for example, Baneling traps. It's something that he's known for. It's something that gave him a lot of success in the past. But Innovation, he is such a great player in this matchup, and I feel a big map like this allows him to go into the late game where he really shines with his unit control and his decision making. And for Linog, this is going to be a very, very tough battle indeed.
Yeah. I really like Linog's Overlord spread here. He has 3 Overlords on all pathways where Hellions can come into his bases. Innovation, on the other hand, knows that there's a 3rd base coming, and since he has his own fast 3rd, which he started first, which he's also observed, he can sit back and say, okay, that's fine. You're not going to bust me early, and if you try to bust me on 3 bases, it's going to be later. I'll have a defense up, already have my wall tight. And wow, he's not quite going to get this Overlord, especially because he's not microing perfectly. Hitting microed better earlier, I think he might have.
Linog, on the other hand, is now going for a bit more fast upgrade style. I like this. Too many Zerg players these days are just trying to make 2-base Mutalist plays work or some kind of timing that usually leaves you far behind in the upgrades. In this scenario, Linog is now the one to start his upgrades early. We have Innovation just now heading into the double engineering bay, whereas the Zerg player is heading towards Lair as well. So I kind of like the style that Linog chose to play here. That leaves him with a very strong early game, and he can make a very powerful transition into the mid game happen, where he usually will be or will try to shine. The question is, when is he going for the infestation pit? When will we see a transition into the late game? And how well is Innovation set up to defend against Linog in the mid game?
Yeah, that's the question. I like the transition here for Innovation as well. He's getting his upgrades out early, but not riskily. And he's continuing to hold the map with these Hellions. I have to say, though, he's not been able to get a whole lot done. He's not denied very many tumors. He hasn't killed any drones. He does have an opening at the 3rd base here, and he's going to go for it. This is something that Linog has spotted, though. He sends his Lings over, and Innovation turns around. Saw all of that on the minimap, just like you guys did, because it wasn't on screen, but that's what happened.
And there's the 3rd base. That happened as well. And with the 3rd, now at this point, the income for Innovation is pretty good. The Hellions give him the map presence that he needs to really make this work. I love that Linok is getting those early micro hatches out. He needs those for the lava. That's really, really nice. Getting, of course, immediately the Spire upon reaching lair tech and heading into the Baneling nest. So this is this powerful mid-game that we're used to see from Zerg. Ling, Muta, Baneling is the composition, and this is what most Zergs are going to try to make happen. And what kind of is the style these days is to get the infestation pit out a little bit faster, trying to head into the hive tech so that at least you are able to get your 3-3 out, because that's when Terrans get really strong. When they hit 3-3 and Zerg is still on 2-2. So that's kind of the adaptation that a lot of Zergs have been making, and let's see how Linok is going to play this.
One thing that's really interesting to me is we haven't had a single Widowmine made yet for Innovation. He's just continuing to build Hellions, getting his armory out early. I think we might see Hellbats come out fairly quickly here with this. And here comes that boost on the medevac. The army, of course, more important for the 2-2, but he's adding a second factory, and there come the Widowmines, so he is going to eventually go for those. Dropship is spotted, but his Zerglings are on the other side of the map. A nice lift here.
Yep, nicely done, and the Hellions are in the perfect spot to welcome those Hellions with a bit of heat. Here comes the armory that allows him to go into +2/+2, the same upgrades that Linok is heading for right now. Great snipe, yeah, amazing snipe by Innovation. Identifying the Banelings, immediately sniping them, moving in, bam, the Queen's gone. And so are a couple of the drones already. The Zerglings trying to change what they can, but they don't have the numbers just yet. The Queens are moving in, and that's finally enough to force Innovation back.
Innovation doing so much damage here, taking out the tumors in the middle of the map as well. Linok just having the worst possible luck with his Zergling positioning here at the wrong time. Now Innovation is going to trade here again, force more Lings back into the main base while he kills the tumors. The fourth base on the right side is uncontested so far, but if Innovation gets any idea it's over there, he can take it out in the flash of an eye.
That was really great moves here by Innovation, moving into the main base, distracting his opponent, moving into the middle of the map with a double medevac. So even if there would have been another force of Zerglings, he could have always lifted and just boosted back. But he took down creep tumors. He's trying to just limit the vision that Linok has. But he did not see that fourth base. And both of them are heading into +2/+2 right now. And keep in mind that Linok, with the first Mutalists in the game, will have a very good tool at his disposal to just make sure that drops like this don't happen any longer.
Oh, terrible trades here for Linok. Again, losing so many of his Zerglings. He's trying to get Mutalists out, but he doesn't have a whole lot of them on the way. Now he has 12, but it's going to take them a little bit longer. Innovation is not going to let up the aggression. Yeah. He needs to know about that fourth base, though. If he leaves that alone, that's something that Linok can use to get back into this game.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at the game and you see, like, okay, 30 minutes in, I'm behind as a Zerg player in supply like this heavily, you know that you have a very tough battle ahead of you. But with that fourth base, if he can hide that a little bit longer and capitalize on it, maybe he's in a position where he can bounce back. But Innovation definitely the one who has a lot of potential for aggression, and he's already trying to use it.
He's seen several drones now. He's got to know. He has to realize that that's exactly what's going on over here. Knowing that Linok is probably set up to defend, goes to kill some more tumors. Got to be careful about these Mutalists. The Mutalist number is quite high, and he's getting even 4 more of those.
A very mobile force that we have for Innovation here, and he's just hugging the creep line, making sure that he takes down as many of the tumors as he possibly can. The 2-2 on the other hand is already done for Linok, but Innovation is in a position where he will get those upgrades in just a few seconds. He's dropping.
Killing a lot of drones here.
Will lose the drop. He identified the fourth. He takes down the Banelings.
Yep, gets those Baneling landmines here, and here comes the engagement. He splits very well, and here come the Widowmines. Beautiful hits!
It's crazy how well he focuses those Banelings down every single time. Molino just not getting any hits here whatsoever. The army supply heavily in favor of Innovation. And here come the Marines once again trying to shield those Widowmines, but great snipes by Linok. The Banelings are still in position, no scan.
I think he knows they're there. He might not have a scan. He saw them burrow earlier. Meanwhile, another drop here on the main base. The drones have to run. Linok just does not have an army big enough to defend. Innovation is going to go and snipe this hatchery this time. Does he realize the Baneling landmines are there? He does.
He sees it, he scans, he's on his way to get 3-3. Linok is far away from getting the infestation pit. Defending his main base, leaves the fourth open. No way for him to actually save it. And this fourth is gone, and Linok is falling farther and farther behind in the game where he's already training.
You know, he already realized Innovation that there's a possible counterattack, so he sends some of his Marines back, continues the rest of his army forward, puts up additional turrets. He's ready for any sort of scenario where Linok tries to just push in with his mutas and trade. Good Widowmine setups here. He hasn't even wasted any of his shots yet, but he's got him in a place where if the Banelings try to come down, he's going to do so much.
These Baneling snipes are insane. I don't think we have seen a single Baneling really connect well against this army. Innovation with his micro and unit control is just completely outclassing Linok right now. The Zerg is trying to do what he can, but Innovation is just so damn good.
He is purposely retargeting his Widowmines to make sure they only shoot at good units. If there's only a Zergling or two, he makes them retarget so they're not wasted. He's done this several times here.
The 3-3 is not even done, but as soon as those upgrades are hitting, I mean, what can Lino do? He might even die before that. The Mutalisk number's finally in a position where he can face those Marines head on, and he has to. But still, he's behind in upgrades. He's trying to get a 4th base in, and 3-3 halfway done. Innovation setting up another trap, another hit with the Widow Mines. I don't know what Lino can do to bounce back into this game.
Yeah, we even have a 4th base here landing for Innovation over at the 9 o'clock expansion. He's just got so many Marines on the way. 3-3, like you said, about to complete. He will kill Lenok's 4th yet again. It looks like Lenok trying to force the engagement here, but there's just so many Widow Mines, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, it looks like very, very grim for Lenok. He's losing this base. We have a nice supply here, lead for the Axiom-Acer players, dropping into the main base now. Lenok is just running from the left to the right, from the right to the left, always trying to catch up with the Terran.
Didn't even cancel that hatchery that we saw earlier on screen, so, you know, this is rough times for him, and it looks like Innovation is actually going to get that all kill that so many people were predicting earlier on today. Takes a 40 supply lead here. He's decimating Lenok's economy. He's going to take out the last of the Mutas here, and that's going to be game.
Yeah, that has to be game. I mean, the 3-3 alone is already taking Lenok down, and here Kid comes. GG, and we have Innovation with the all kill. Axiom-Acer takes the match with a 4-0 FXOpen without a single map win.
Not a single map win. Innovation being the right choice as a starting player. Just recently joined Acer, partners up with Axiom-Acer to destroy all of FXOpen's hopes of taking any points for their opening match this season.
Bottoms up, I guess. Not quite.
Yeah, that's not going to win the prize.
That was a very weird ceremony. I guess that's like hit it in the middle and one guy will get wet. I don't know.
Look at Choya.
Not happy. Not at all.
This is, of course, just the very beginning of the season and the very beginning of the first round. But still, this is never the place you want to be in after your first match to just get trashed like that. I mean, he trashed them.
They took a beating.
There was not a single moment where it looked like FXOpen was going to win this match. Not a single moment.
You know, Choya is looking very disappointed here, but on the other hand, to be quite frank with you, I feel this is one of the scenarios that a lot of other teams have to look at and be like, okay, we need to prepare more than one sniper for this guy.
Yeah, this is definitely true. In fact, I expect that Axiom-Acer will send Innovation out first several times this season, just so they can make sure their indicator is bolstered up as high as possible. Because if you use him later and he gets you the win, it's not as good as using him first, getting the all kill or getting the triple kill and getting that indicator up as high as possible.
I would say just cheese him or die trying.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Lenok possibly should have done here. Trying to play against Innovation's macro late game style in that matchup is suicidal, as seen just before.
I could not understand the map choice. Like the player choice, I can get that, because I feel for FXOpen it was not only about taking out Innovation, but you already know that going up against so many players, you have to have someone who can do that. I feel if you just talk about Innovation himself, Gumiho is probably the better choice, just because the TVT of Innovation is not looking as good as his TVZ. But I can understand the choice to put Lenok out there because of the experience advantage that he has, and because Choya was hoping that Lenok would go up against the rest of the team as well. Yeah. But the map choice, that's the one thing that I don't really understand, because like on a new map where Innovation doesn't really know about all the positions, about everything that could happen, about the exact timings, I can see a push work there. Yeah. But on a map that is completely figured out, going up against such a strong TVZ player sounds a little bit suicidal to me.
Yeah, that's why I described it as such earlier, just because it's almost like nonsensical. Lenok is not a strong player in the late game against Terran in Heart of the Swarm, and he's playing against one of the best Terrans, if not the best Terran player in the world, whose best matchup is Terran versus Zerg, especially on a map where he's very well known for his style. His macro is incredible, his splitting is incredible, his Widowmine targeting was impeccable.
Crazy. That was really crazy. And we talked about statistics alone. If you have 60 maps played and you want 80% of them against the high level of play, this is crazy. This is like unheard of. So that was a bit surprising to me. But we are having our interview, and of course we are interviewing the coach here for the team, Crank for Axiom-Acer. We'll get a few words of Innovation as well.
See what he has to say here.
일단 GSTL
Why did you send out Innovation as your first player?
I guess because he wanted to win.
많이 기대하실 거라고 생각했어요. 그래서 신영이를 전면에 앞셈으로 인해서
Since he's a new member of the team,
신영이도 선봉으로 나오고
they were thinking that a lot of fans were waiting for him and anticipating his play. So they just wanted to see him play an Acer. A lot of fans did, and he knew that. So that's why he sent him out kind of as a flashy move here, but ended up being a pretty good strategic choice as well.
That was pretty flashy. That worked well.
알았을 때부터 저희가 좀 경기가 어렵게 풀고 나갈 수 있다고 생각했어요. 왜냐하면 남기용 선수가 이번에 최근 대회 우승하기 전부터 저희는 잘한다는 생각.
So when they knew that Hurricane was actually the first player for Team FXOpen, they thought that today might be a very hard match since Hurricane is doing really well these days, especially in other tournaments. So for them it was more of a thing if Innovation is able to take down Hurricane. They thought if he's able to do that, he might all kill today, but Hurricane was for them the biggest opponent to overcome.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
we
exactly
talked
what happened.
Yeah, we talked about that like a lot in detail earlier when they faced each other.
저랑은
Hurricane kind of the one who makes waves these days for FXOpen.
경험이라서 크게 용하는데 지장은 없었고요.
So he's saying that Crank used to be in STX a long time ago, so he's very good friends with Innovation.
친한 사이이기 때문에 전혀 숙소를 적응하는 데는 지장이 없었고요.
And he says that he's good friends with everyone else on the team, STX as well.
신영이와 연습하면
So he's not having any problems adjusting to the new team Innovation, that is. He's adjusted quite well. So that's something we were curious about earlier, and it definitely shows.
Yeah, I feel actually like that Axiom-Acer just in general is one of the teams where you usually have like a pretty easy time like getting to connect with.
It's like, are you a fun, enjoyable person and you're going to have a good time with us?
Yeah.
팬들께 한 말씀 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다.
저희가 GSTL을 통틀어 모든 팀 리그에서 초중반부에 아주 좋은 성적을 이루다가 후반부에서 갑자기 집중력을 잃어서 안 좋은 모습을 많이 보여드리게 됐는데요.
So last season they did really well in the early part of the season, and in the later stage of the season, especially in the playoffs, they didn't do as well as they wanted to. So this time they want to change this a little bit. They want to just play very consistent in the season, and they actually want to win it. So putting it out there right away, they want to take the season.
Well, they definitely take a pretty good lead here when it comes to points with a 4-0.
A very convincing lead indeed. And of course we are having a few words from Innovation as well.
He is the MVP.
진짜 오늘
Who would have
올킬 기록을 하면서
And,
역시 신영이다라는
most valuable player by far.
경기력을 보여줬었는데
Kind of the only player that we saw today.
올킬 예상을 하셨습니까? 언제쯤 나 올킬 하겠다 이런 생각이 들어요.
That would be a sick troll. Suddenly, like Ryan comes out MVP today.
So asking if he expected to get an all kill today, and he says after winning the second game, that's when he realized he had the possibility of doing. He might be able to get that all kill.
Would have been great if he would have just answered yes. So he actually just said that his performance was getting better and better as he went along game after game, and he felt that especially in the later matches he played a lot better than in the beginning. He kind of showed. I mean, the 4-0 speaks for itself.
Absolutely. So really easily taken it just looked like in those games. Like he had no problems. The only game he looked like he might lose was against SC. Then he turned that game on its head, flipped the table there, and SC had no choice but to type out.
Yeah.
그렇게 궁금합니다.
네, 아무래도 그나마 태태전이 조금 자신이 없었는데 테란을 꺾고 나서는 그냥 누구든 나와도 이길.
So his TVT, in his opinion, is actually his TVT is the weakest matchup in his opinion. And after the match against SC, he was very confident going up against any other player in the FXOpen roster. Kind of underlining what we already talked about earlier. Terran versus Terran, definitely one of his weak points these days, if you want to call it a weak point. And it showed a bit in the match against SC, but he came out the victor. And from that point on, of course, flawlessly, he took match after match, took down seed, and then laid on.
지원을 할 것인지 좀 궁금하네요.
That was just really, his game against Linux was one of the most clear-cut games I've ever seen from him, where he just wiped him out. So he's asking, are you planning to come out as the first player in the next match? He says he doesn't care which order he comes out, it's the coach's decision. And he's just going to do his best to contribute to the team.
최종적으로만 이기면 된다.
So that's
사실 이런
well
말이
said
좀
there.
좋거든요.
Yeah, that's kind of Korean for saying like I want to give the other guys a chance to get a few wins too.
Yeah.
이런 느낌이잖아요.
But I think the coach is probably asking him to come out first again. At least I would.
이전에도 우승을 하지
if I
못했다
were given the
리그에서는
choice.
또 좋은 그 승부를 만들어내가지고.
Gives a lot of potential for Snipe if you come out first, but still, I mean, he didn't seem to have any problems today.
Young probably wants a couple of like appearances as well to make sure that he's once again the guy who gets the trophy at the end of the season. But he has a lot of competition here.
Yeah. Any comments to the fans? He's asked, and we'll see what Innovation has to say.
꼭 우승하도록 하겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 축하합니다. 야, 이준영 선수의 또
So he's just saying he's in a new team now, he's an Acer, he would love everyone to just support him and the team, and they will do their best to win this season.
Yeah, I mean, looking good so far, taking their first place spot on the board with 4-0, the +4 indicator, meaning that whoever wins our next Team League match to tie them for first place will also have to get an all-kill.
Yeah, so they're doing quite well, but keep in mind that their lineup is still a little bit limited. They currently don't have a Zerk in Korea, and Scarlet is not here just yet, so they have a very small roster. That might be one of the problems that they eventually might even run into in this season. So it's something to keep in mind here.
Yeah.
But in general, doing really well, of course, in the first matches here with a 4-0. That's the perfect start.
Yeah, so here's who he beat to get his all-kill. Hurricane, SC, Seed, and Lenok taking that all-kill. Very straightforward here, putting Axiom-Acer in the lead. Really, really nicely done. I mean, very clearly the top Terran player in the world in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, he showed everyone that that you can never count him out.
Definitely true. And of course, this is our current standing. Startail, Soul, and Azuba yet to play any of their matches, so they're all down there with the dashes, but it's going to be tough to take that first place spot away from Axiom-Acer.
And of course, our next game is going to be on a Thursday, which is in 2 days. Keep in mind that then we are going to start a little bit earlier than today, 5 hours early to be exact. Every Tuesday we play the matches at 6 p.m. and on Thursday at 1 p.m. Korean stand-up time, of course, that is.
Yes, and it will be Startail versus Azubu. A very classic match and a really exciting one at that to see here, so looking forward to that one.
That's going to be a good one, especially Startail. I want to see those players, I want to see Life back in action. Of course, we have like great Protoss players with Avenge, who's doing a lot and got a lot of wins for his team in the last season, so we're going to find out on Thursday how he's going to match up against Team Azubu.
Yeah. It'd be good to see Azubu losing a lot of their players recently, a lot of restructuring for the team. So that's one thing that they don't have going for them. Startail, on the other hand, one of the biggest rosters we've ever seen in StarCraft 2.
So we're going to see you on Thursday. Today, of course, we had a very short match since Innovation was able to take out Team FXOpen without losing a single game. We'll be back on Thursday with the match between Startail and Azubu. Hope that you enjoyed today's games, and we are going to see you in a few days here at the GSTL. Until then, bye-bye.
Years later down the line, my progression is my profession. I'm doing shows with a 9. My mama's trying to kick in. My sister, she doing fine. And I'm making my way through life, no longer blinded. Wait, a minor setback.